I remember feeling guilty after training sometimes, not because the training was bad, but there was always a thought in back of my mind that everyone else is studying while I waste my time on my hobbies. The feeling that if I'm doing anything outside studies, I'm just lagging behind. And for me, that conflict was weirdly extreme, I'll say, because while preparing for JEE, I was also competing at national levels in Taekwondo. Looking back at it, after getting into IT Delhi, I've thought a lot about whether continuing was a good decision. Did it help me? Did it cost my JEE rank? Was it just a waste of time? In this video, I'll share my experience about following a hobby while preparing for JEE, and if you think you are in the same situation as me, I'll give you some advice too. And before starting, I'll give you some context about Taekwondo. I played that sport since I was in class 1. I've won many medals in it. I've traveled to several states just to compete for it. I played nationals exactly 1 year before JEE mains, and a year before that, I won national gold medal. And it was not just a sport in my life, that was a way of life for me because I had been playing that sport for the last 12 years, right? I could not just let it go. It was also a very big part of my character development, if you want to say that. I had lived so many experiences that normal people would not get if they did not continue the sport. So, in the initial days of JEE preparation, as always, everyone was like, yeah, you need to quit this sport, you cannot continue this, blah blah blah. I don't know why there's always some pressure to quit your sport, quit your hobby, quit your art or whatever, just for the sake of getting your JEE rank. I don't think so that's a very good way to live. I'll say yes, I was extreme towards it. I was training for, let's say, 3 4 5 hours on some days. That's not something you would do in your JEE, but for me that was the perfect mix. Since my childhood, I always thought of myself as an athlete rather than a topper. Although I used to score good in exams, but that did not mean that I viewed myself as a topper. So naturally, my inclination towards me being an athlete was more than just being good at studies. Being good at studies was just something that happened to me. I did not care about studies as much as I did for my sports, or be it my arts or whatever. Friends, family, relationships also. So now you have got a basic idea of what my personality is, that I do not value studies that much. So going forward, keep that in mind that I am slightly biased towards not being very good at studies. So do not get emotionally overwhelmed and just jump into a hobby and follow me blindly. I know what are the risks for it. I was ready to pay for it. You may not be in the same situation as me that you can follow your sport while preparing for JEE. So just hear my story and then make your decision afterwards. Firstly, I want to talk about the reality of balancing both the things. It's not like you are going to be average in both of those and still expect that, yeah, I'll play nationals in one thing and then crack JEE also. That's not how it works. You have to grind for it a lot. There were periods in my life, the JEE journey, where I did not talk to any of my friends. Why? Because let's say 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, I was training for Taekwondo, and the rest of the day, I was just grinding out questions for JEE. So, this is not something you call balanced life. Balanced life is something where you are prioritizing everything. There were only three things in my life at that time: Taekwondo, study, and sleep. I am a big rooter for sleep. You do not sacrifice your sleep at all. I used to sleep minimum 8 hours, even 9 hours, 10 hours, because I could not function without sleep, and I still cannot. If I get less than 7 hours of sleep, I am done for the day. Let's talk about some burnouts. There will be some phases where you will face some burnouts during your JEE preparation, and having a hobby in that time could help you in that, but also could worsen it. Why? If you are just stressing for your hobby and treating it like work, so then you are not relaxing. So then you are not actually enjoying your time while doing your hobby. You are just continuously struggling, and ending the day. So that could burn you out very easily. But for me, training and, let's say, running for 1 hour was not a punishment, rather an a task of fulfillment, enjoyment. So I could get through that. So Taekwondo actually helped me to not get burnt out during my JEE preparation. And this actually proved to be true, because when I quit Taekwondo a few months before JEE, I genuinely had the worst burnout of my life. I was not studying at all. I literally quit even studying when I quit Taekwondo. So for me, it had a very big impact. So personally, Taekwondo saved me from burnout for the longest time because I was grinding for JEE so much that the only thing which kept me happy. And sometimes, while managing both the things, you'll have to prioritize something over something else. In my story, I had prioritized Taekwondo over my studies. Just to put things into perspective, exactly 1 year before JEE mains, 1 January 2024, I was playing my nationals. Okay. And I blew away one entire month for that. I did not study a single thing in that month. But still, I got it through by then again prioritizing my studies over Taekwondo for the next 2 3 months. So, yeah, there will be some phases where you have to prioritize something else, but that also means that you need to be responsible enough to cover up for the left out thing. After the main event has been done, you need to work on this thing because this thing is lacking very much due to this event. Now, to answer a very big question, did JEE and this hobby thing affect my rank? I'll say yes, but not in a way you would think. It actually helped me get a better rank. You'll say how? Because if you don't know my story, after I quit my taekwondo thing, I also quit my studying. This was the same time when I completed my syllabus, and after that, I quit studying and taekwondo at the same time. I was very burnt out, so I quit both of them. And after that, I did not study much. I was just giving mocks, and that's all. While I was preparing for Taekwondo, the only thing which I had kept me happy during the JEE burnout phase was the hobby itself. So when I stopped the hobby, everything went downhill. Personally, I feel that when I was preparing for JEE and playing my sport, that actually helped me focus more on my JEE. Yeah, period. Let's say now someone asks me that would you do it any differently? I'll say no. I would do it the exact same way. The only thing I would change is I would continue doing my sport while I was preparing for JEE. I am 100% sure that would have given me better results than quitting my sports. So now some advices for you if you are also struggling with this, that you want to juggle your hobby and your JEE at the same time. You need to understand something first. Before entering this JEE thing, I had already discovered something which I was very good at because I had already played nationals and won it before starting my JEE prep. So I knew I am good at this and I can get better at this. If you are just trying to explore things during your JEE, I'll say that's not a very good way to proceed because you don't know, right? If you are going to be good at it, if you are going to like it or no. Rather, I'll say if you have any interest in literally anything from your past, you would rather do that than explore new things. And that too while giving a very minimal amount of time for it. Unless you are very sure of it that, yeah, I will be a machao guy in this thing, don't do it. Unless you are sure of it, do not do it. And also, let's put some things in perspective. For the JEE, typical JEE toppers, their hobby is actually studying. So they are enjoying their time while actually studying, right? They have been toppers, or let's say their identity for being themselves has been that, yeah, they are a studious guy, girl, or whatever, and they need to score good marks. That's their identity for them. For me, it was not the case. So they are enjoying their life while having quit everything else for their JEE thing because they were anyways going to do that. But that was not the case for me, could not be the case for you. So that's why blindly following JEE toppers does not work because there are a lot of things which go behind a person's success in anything, right? If a person enjoys something, yeah, of course they will be good at it. That's a simple fact. So for the JEE toppers, that's a very obvious thing. Yeah, yes, they are going to do it for the rest of their lives. They want to be the studious person. They want to research on something. So of course they have the inclination towards studying so much. You might not have that, and that's okay. So let's just sum it up. If you want to follow your hobby, you can and you should, but there should be some limitations to it. You should not do it the way I did it, because I know I was in control. I know I could get through JEE easily. Maybe that's not the case for you. Maybe you are actually struggling in JEE, and if you pick up a new hobby while you are struggling for JEE, that's the worst thing you can do to yourself, because you are already struggling in JEE, and then on top of that you want to do something else. That's a big no. And let's say if you are in a situation where you already do something from the, let's say, last 5 6 7 years, then yes, you can do it. You know how you're going to perform in this field of life, and I'll actually recommend it to you. If you need some time for it from your, apart from a JE thing, yes, you should give your time to this thing. But that does not mean I'm saying that while preparing for JE, completely focus on something else. No, you should at least secure some good IIT, and you should have some confidence in yourself that yeah, even if I do this thing, this hobby of mine, I'll still end up in at least an NIT. Only after reaching that state of mind you can do something else. Before that, no, just focus on your JE, just focus on your career. I'll say that is the more important point. And at the end, I'll just say yes, JE is important, but becoming just a JE topper or JE aspirant for 2 years of my life was not something I would want to do, because even while preparing for JE, I was still aware of the fact that I need to develop myself in all the ways, not just JE. JE was just a measure for me to get materialistic success. So that's why it didn't have that importance for me in my life. And I won't say you should follow me blindly, but I've given you full case of what I felt, what my situation was, and everything else. But I'll still say you should focus on your overall development. You should focus on your sleep, your mental health, your hobbies, and your JE at the same time. Yes, you can manage this thing. You have to work very hard for it. I'll agree. You have to genuinely lock in the grind mode. You have to go for it. You'll struggle for some time regarding your social life in that. I struggle too. If you can manage that, good for you. But most likely you won't be if you're going to do everything in a good way. I'll say good. If you're going to perform in everything, most likely your social life will have to tank for it. And I think so that's okay, because and yeah, that was the whole video. बहुत heavy हो गया topic, I know, but तुम्हें पूरी बात जानना ज़रूरी था. ऐसा नहीं है कि बस ऑन सरफेस दिखता है कि हाँ ही अचीव सो मच, बट उसके लिए बहुत कुछ करना भी पड़ता है, सैक्रिफाइस भी करना पड़ता है. तो यू शुड नो योर द कॉस्ट यू हैव टू बेयर. तुम लोग भी बोल देना कि तुम्हारी कोई हॉबी है जो तुम परस्यू करना चाह रहे हो और नहीं कर पा रहे. वट एवर you can share your thoughts, right? Because this channel is not going to be a typical JEE channel जिसमें सिर्फ तुम्हें मैं टॉप 10 लिस्ट बताऊंगा. नहीं, वो हो गया है. मैंने पिछले साल ही अपलोड कर दिए थे, और उतने से ही तुम्हारा JEE क्रैक हो जाएगा. उतना ही फॉलो करना है. तुम्हें बार बार हर 2 महीने में नया टाइम टेबल की भी ज़रूरत नहीं है. सो इस चैनल पे मैं रादर फोकस करूंगा कि तुम अपने मेंटल हेल्थ पार्ट और ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट पे भी फोकस कर पाओ while preparing for your JEE. While preparing, I'm not saying to quit your JEE. JEE is important, so you have to prepare for it, but you should also focus on your other development as well. So that's all. Bye bye.